Hello everyone, welcome back to iRead'em. As usual, we have another episode of ProRevenge today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe and click the bell icon for more videos. This will also really help my channel out. Thanks.
Bully me for months, or hit you where it hurts the most, literally. I want to preface this by saying I'm not proud of what I've done here. To the casual observer, what I did might seem like justice, but really, I wish it didn't have to go as far as it did. I want my story to be a cautionary tale of what happens when bullying isn't taken seriously. I don't want the story to inspire you to do what I did, but as to what happens when people don't make the right choices the first time. Also, TLDR at bottom. The quotes aren't exact, and apologies if this seems a little all over the place. It's not easy for me to bring up stories like this, but I felt maybe I'd do some good by sharing it. For as long as I can remember, I had a habit of bottling up my emotions. My single father is a staunch believer in traditional masculinity, including the idea that men and boys shouldn't cry. But by my early and mid-teens, I succumbed to this outdated idea and accepted it, my fate as a quiet, stoic drone that just took orders, respected authority, and did hard work, especially manual labour. Wow, okay, so I'll just say that if you ever, getting bullied or people aren't being nice to you or something similar happens, and you've always got to talk about it. I know you may be scared to or might, be uncomfortable talking about it, but it always is better to talk about it and just, do something about it, because otherwise it could get worse and worse, and then you might not want to talk about it even more, and it will just spiral. Enter my high school, which had a huge problem with bullying. The worst kids by far were trashy gangster kids, brackets, their words, not mine, from the inner city who targeted anybody they considered weaker than them. I was pretty muscular, 15 years old, but that didn't stop them from saying things like, "Dude, you're so fat," or "What's the matter, fatty? Lose your Twinkies on the way over." In class it was mostly petty annoyance, taking my pencil, sticking gum in my hair, insults. They got physical when the teachers weren't looking, tripping me in the hall and pretending it was an accident, slamming my head against a locker, hitting me with footballs or soccer balls and saying a fake, "Oops, sorry." By themselves it didn't seem that bad, but enough grains of sand add up to a huge pile, and at that point I was up to my waist in it. Oh, these sound like awful people. I wonder when this story was from, as in what time period, because I'm sure in more recent years things like this couldn't happen, because these things didn't happen because teachers now, in the more recent years actually care about things like this. Of course the school didn't do anything about it. Teachers would either tell me, "I'll take care of it," and then nothing ever changed, or I'd get something stupid like, "I didn't see it, there's nothing I can do," or, if I stopped the class every time a kid was acting up, we'd never get anything done. Sure, and if a tree falls in the forest, it didn't make a sound because you didn't hear it. My father wasn't any help either. He'd tell me things like, "There's going to be people like that everywhere you go," or, "If you're crying about this, you'll never make it in life." Basically telling me to go suck it up because there are worse things out there. As a kid, I was hurt by this, but I was 15, so my self-esteem had been run over by a combine a few times by now. For months I just kept ignoring and waiting, hoping my teachers would keep their word about dealing with this problem. Sadly, it seemed they'd rather prioritise pep rallies and career aptitude tests than do their job in keeping kids safe. This seems like a pretty awful school I know lots of schools do that, but if teachers really don't care that much, normally schools to a certain extent will care about the pupils being bullied and things. By around spring, I had enough. By now, my sadness and annoyance had transmuted into boiling rage that had been keeping in me for far too long. If nobody was going to fight for me, I'd do it for myself, literally. I devoted the majority of my weekend to prepping for a showdown on Monday. One of the few things that's good about my father is how knowledgeable he is in self-defense. He believed it was important for a man to learn to fight, so he had me take several different kinds of martial art classes. Here, though, I wanted something stronger than karate or taekwondo. I wanted something that would allow for the best results in the least amount of time. I then researched Krav Maga, a branch of martial arts that's basically a military-style form of self-defense, meant to train you how to fight and if you're ever in danger in the real world. No rules, no balanced teams, no referees, just you and your need for survival. One of the components of Krav Maga is knowing the body's biggest weak spots, one that maximises the most amount of pain when hurt. Things like groin, toes and eyes are obvious, but you could also hit the knees, solar plexus and even the spine. Since my classes didn't teach Krav Maga, you had to be 16 at the time, I watched many online videos making mental notes of the techniques used. It was almost always the same kid or group of bullies that bullied me, so I already knew what they looked like and more importantly, where to strike. On Monday, I waited for the next chance to come to the bullies to attack. To my surprise, they kept quiet for the most part. Maybe this was one of my lucky days where I actually get some work done. Then, while I was crunching for an exam during lunch, one of the bullies, a regular, spilled my water all over my notebook, saying, "Oops, sorry," as he and his pal started walking away laughing. I got a good look at the back of the guy's neck. I raised my fist, aiming for the middle where I'd likely to hit his spinal column. Wham! I knocked the guy over to the ground. That's when all hell broke loose. His friends tried tackling me away, and I tried remembering to hit all of their weak points: eyes, throat, groin and jaw. It was a fairly sloppy attempt at Krav Maga, given my inexperience, and the other kids trying to fight back, but it got the effect I wanted. Of course, I didn't come out unscathed. I got a punch in the jaw, a bloody nose, a bruise to the forehead, and more than a few kicks in the family jewels. The other kids noticed us fighting, and with some going to get a teacher, while the others watched in a mix of shock and excitement. Eventually, the principal and a few other teachers pulled us apart and sent us to the office after our injuries were treated. Okay, so this has taken quite a deep turn. Don't know what to say really. Well, aggressiveness is never bad, but then schools the teachers never cared about this person's situation, so lots of schools put people in awful situations when teachers won't do anything, and then there isn't much else they can do. But violence is bad, obviously, but violence is still bad. The principal talked to us individually, while the assistant principal called our parents. When it was my turn, I explained what happened. At some point, the principal said, "Why didn't you tell the teacher?" At that moment, I snapped, somehow managing to sound even angrier than when I was fighting a few minutes ago. I already told the damn teacher like a million frickin' times, but nobody was doing shit about it. Nobody. You tell me over and I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it, but nobody ever frickin' did. I would have felt like I had to deal with somebody that actually did their damn job for once. We were all suspended for 2 weeks for the fighting, but I got an extra week of suspension for yelling at the principal. Wow, okay, so that's not fair at all. He got more punishment for the fact that they've been bullying him for a long time and he was standing up for himself. Yeah, you'd be surprised, schools are supposed to teach him about life and things like that, but nope, apparently not. They don't do their jobs very well at all. To much my surprise, my father was rather quiet about the whole thing. Normally, my father had the temperament of a dragon, but maybe this whole fight touched his inner macho man that made him go easier on me. On the car ride home, he said calmly but firmly, "What happened? And tell me the truth." I told him. They wouldn't stop picking on me, so I defended myself. I waited to hear my father make some snide remark about hurt feelings, but he just said, "Were you in danger?" I paused for a moment and said, "Yes." I knew I was exaggerating, but maybe this could open up my father's eyes to see how much I was hurting. He was quiet for a minute and then said, "I can't judge on your situation because I wasn't there, but isn't a boy's nature to be aggressive sometimes? Sounds like those bullies were just using it for harm. I also know you well enough to know that you wouldn't lay a finger on someone unless you felt like you had to." I nodded, holding back tears. "Next time you're ever in that kind of danger, call me. Don't wait for the teacher to fail you again. I'll give him hell." I was stunned, and once I realised what just happened, I smiled. That's one of the few redeeming qualities about my father. As toxic and narcissistic as he was an expert on bringing vengeance to those who deserved it. During my suspension, one of the bully's parents wanted to press assault charges on me, but my father threatened to countersue the school for letting the bullying go on for so long. Thankfully, nobody had to go to court as the bully's credibility sank faster than the Titanic. Once word got around that I fought back to stop the bullying, rather than the strong, quiet guy going psycho, more kids decided to come forward to the principal about their experiences getting bullied. This included a few girls who had been sexually harassed by these kids. This was a PR nightmare for the school that left a permanent stain on their reputation among the locals. Well, it should do, to be perfectly honest. The school seemed horrible at the fact that they were just turning a blind eye to all of this, and then when it was time to punish people, they punished a person who was being bullied, even though yes, he did do violent things, but the amount of stuff these bullies did to him was horrible, and other people. In the end, the bullies got expelled, faced some charges for sexual harassment, and I got transferred to a different high school. I guess I'm a little proud that I inspired some other trouble kids to come forward, but I really didn't like violence. I'm built for self-defense, but I don't like hurting anybody unless it's to protect those I love. I would have much preferred if teachers actually did their job and took care of it before I had to. I did get a gift certificate for summer class in Krav Maga by my Sweet 16. Thankfully, I've never had to use it yet. TLDR, bullies spend months torturing me and teachers won't do anything, so I researched and initiated an advanced martial arts to bring maximum physical pain to my bullies. Okay, so that was quite a long story, but not a very nice one actually. It really shows, what some schools are like. I mean, again, like I said, most schools should have things in place to stop things like this happening, but this was horrible to just let this go on for so long unnoticed, but he got his revenge in the end. And not only that, but lots of people came up to say their stories about what had happened to them and how they had been bullied. So yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching to the end of today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please like, comment, subscribe and click the bell icon for more videos. Thanks. I also have lots of other ProRevenge videos on my channel, some of which should be on the screen right now, so please consider checking them out. Thanks and bye.